Just would like to understand at a high level what is your importance in databases and what is your prior experience in databases before you get into DB2 LUW.
Actually, I'm Oracle certified,
Very good.
and in my work environment, they introduced DB2, IBM DB2.
Right.
So I wanted to learn about it because it's a new technology coming in my company.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just wanted to learn and get certification.
Very good. Very good. So when you say Oracle certified, you are from database administration or development aspect?
Administration, both development administration.
Yeah, okay, pretty good. So you are pretty comfortable with SQL Server, I mean SQL language and
Yes,
terminology of okay. Okay,
yes,
right. So let me start with basics. You see my screen right here,
yes.
right? So I've been working in IT from past 12 years and experience in DB2, Informix, Netezza, Oracle, Unix, and shell scripting. These are the various technologies I have been working as a database administrator, and my core specialization is performance tuning.
Okay, that's good.
Very good. So if when I'm talking about DB2, since you are already familiar with Oracle, what was the version of Oracle you are comfortable with so far? 11G?
I work mostly with 11G, and recently we work with 12C.
Oh, very good. So I'll try to compare both of them, DB2 and Oracle, so that it helps you in understanding pretty faster. Okay.
Yeah, actually, I already working on it. Right now, I work in DB2, but I'm not certified, so
Oh,
I need to be certified. Yeah.
okay. So since you mentioned that you are already working in DB2, right?
Yes.
What is a DB2? What is your understanding on DB2 so far? How do you define if
Um,
okay, please go ahead.
I can say it's a relational database system like Oracle used to uh, store data, retrieve data, and protect data.
Right. Pretty good. That's pretty good. So let me go back with the basic question again. What is a database? Sorry, I'm asking like very basic questions, but just would like to bring both of us in the same
Yes.
phase. Okay. So what do you mean by database here?
Um, database um, is a process of storing information.
Yeah, pretty good. So there is no single.
Or
Okay.
I can say like Oracle. Technically, we can say Oracle database is a instance plus. Okay, is a data that is an instance plus data file.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So database, in my opinion, is nothing but data plus base. You see, just a combination of two different words here. Or we can say repository of data, right? Now on top of a database, this is how my entire architectures, right, in the industry. I have client, I have server. This I'm mostly talking about database server. This is a two-tier model. If I have just client and a database server, and these two guys can talk using a language called SQL. Like you and I are from a different geographical locations, and we are communicating here in a common language called English. Similarly, the only way a client can talk to a database server is using an SQL business language. Now our databases fit here, right? So there is an equivalent word for database called DBMS, Database Management System. This is also called as an instance in other words that you are referring. Okay. Now what is the major difference between database and DBMS? Just to start with is the relation between employee and manager. Let's say you are pretty good in Oracle 11G. I have a work to be done from you on Oracle 11G. I belong to a different team. I cannot directly approach you and consume your hours because you have a dedicated work given by your manager. If I need your expertise, right? If I need your expertise, I need to go to your manager and tell your manager that I need help from Shabani in getting so and so work done. Then your manager prioritizes your work, right? Like a manager manages employees, like multiple employees in our organization. Here also, a DBMS can manage multiple databases. This is a fundamental architecture difference in DB2. You see my point here? If you go to
Yes.
Oracle, we say that database and instance. We have only
Yes.
single database. If I talk about Oracle 11G here, right? I have a
Yes.
single instance and I have a single database model. At max,
Yes.
I can go is a database can have multiple instances, instance 1 and instance 2, etc. If I talk about a rack model, right?
Yes.
Unless I go for 12C where we have an option of pluggable databases. It's the same concept as DB2. Now what I'm talking about here is in DB2 by default you have multiple databases and single instance model. This is the fundamental difference. I have here multiple databases can depend on instance. Right. I'll go to this architecture detail in a few minutes, but what I'm trying to bring here is the terminology. You see, we so far talked about a database, DBMS, we spoke about SQL, we talked about client, we talked about server, we talked about two-tier model, right? The equivalence for database is a DBMS, or people call it as instance, right? So databases became relational databases, then DBMS became RDBMS. I have here object relational database, ORDBMS. You see? So this is how these guys evolved over the years. Now all our industry major databases are object relational databases. All our industry databases are object relational databases. You see what I'm saying? Now even
Yes.
DB2 or Oracle, right? This is the first important terminology we should know. And the second important terminology we should know is types of databases, right? In my opinion, there are three major types of databases we have in the industry. The first one is transactional, the second one is analytical, and the third one is big data. Right? I'm sure you know it, but I'm just bringing
Yes.
here to see or to put you exactly where DB2 belongs. Okay? Transactional
Yes.
is nothing but day-to-day transactions. For example, eBay or Amazon, so etc. These are the transactional guys. Analytical is also called as data warehousing, right? So, or these are also called as decision support systems, right? And big data is nothing but you might have heard this big boom from from past few years. Hadoop, MongoDB. These basically process huge amount of data, right? What are the examples for my transactional database? We talk about Oracle, we talk about DB2, we talk about SQL Server, we talked about MySQL. What are the examples for analytical? IBM has Netezza, Oracle has Exadata, Greenplum, etc. And what are the examples for big data? Hadoop is one solution, MongoDB is another solution, Cassandra, etc. You see my point here? My first
Yes.
point is understanding the basic terminology. Since you are pretty comfortable with databases, it won't be pretty hard at all. Database, relational database, and object relational database. The equivalent DBMS, RDBMS, and ORDBMS. The other thing we need
Okay.
to know is what are the types of databases we have in the industry: transactional, analytical, big data. Now, if someone asks me a question that what is a DB2, right? DB2 is an object relational database primarily designed for transactional processing. You see what I'm saying?
Mm.
Any questions so far on this terminology, Shabani?
Um, do you provide a notes or just a lecture like this? Because
Right. Don't worry about it. I'll share you the
okay,
recording. I'll share you these running notes. You don't have to write anything. Okay.
okay, all right,
Okay. So that you can fully concentrate on the class.
okay.
Okay. Now there is one more terminology. So you are okay so far? Any questions so far?
Um, you say DB2 is one data, multiple database, one instance,
Right.
right?
Right.
This look like difference from Oracle. Oracle is a one-to-one relationship,
Exactly.
except for rack.
Right. Mhm. That is a major difference. In my opinion, if you look at 12C, this is the architecture they want to brought in. If you look at Oracle installation, if you opt for pluggable database installation, it's like multiple databases you can create under single instance. Yeah, this is the fundamental architectural difference. It's not only DB2. If you go for SQL Server, right, it's a multiple instance, multiple databases and single instance.
Okay.
Okay. Now, okay, let's move on. When I say what is a DB2, I say DB2 is an object relational database primarily designed for transactional processing. When I refer this DB2, or let's say if I have met a person who says that he is a DB2 DBA, right? When someone approaches me and says that okay, I am a DB2 DBA, I ask that guy, there are three different product streams in DB2 from IBM. It's not just like Oracle. Oracle has only one database, Oracle database. It's like when you say Oracle DBA, I immediately ask you that, okay, did you work on 11G or 12C? There is no separate database product. When I talk about a DB2, DB2 has a three different product streams. What are those three products? The most popular mainframe, it was the kind of market game changer, a decade or few decades back. Second one is I series. Third one is UDB. The name got changed to LUW. Mainframe is a closure system on GOS. I series is on a separate I series platforms. UDB stands for Universal Database, and LUW stands for Linux, Unix, and Windows. You see what I'm saying? Now, if someone says to me that he is a DB2 DBA, the first thing I ask him is which product stream you are talking about. Each of it sees a different code altogether. Each of them has a different functionality, right? If you learn UDB or LUW, it's like learning a different mainframe codes here. There might be some equivalence between each of them, but at the end of the day, all three are different streams, different products. Now, what we are going to see down the line here in these classes is DB2 on LUW, Linux, Unix, and Windows platforms.
Yeah, I took it.
Okay. So, what is IBM DB2? DB2 is a family of database server products developed by IBM. These products support relational model, object model, and non-relational model.
Una microphone.
When I say non-relational model, it's mostly the XML syntax, right? That's why sometimes we call DB2 as an hybrid databases. It supports both relational as well as non-relational. It's not only the thing with DB2, other databases also support. If I go to a little history, it introduced by IBM in 1983 to run on its MVM mainframe platform. Later, it got ported on open systems Linux, Unix, and Windows because of these guys' popularity. We can install DB2 on Linux platform and practice, but you cannot do such thing on mainframe because mainframe is a closure system. Right now, DB2 offers industry-leading performance, scale, and reliability on various platforms because of its thread-based architecture, because of its simplicity. Today, there are three main products in the DB2 family. Of course, DB2 for Linux, Unix, and Windows, also known as DB2 LUW or DB2 UDB, or DB2 from mainframe or DB2 for I series. Going forward, if I refer DB2, I am referring DB2 as DB2 on LUW or UDB. When I come to DB2 LUW or UDB, it again has various subproducts. These are basically
Online.
depending upon the business. Sorry, please go ahead.
Yeah, son.
When I just talk about a DB2 here, I mean the DB2 on LUW. Okay. In DB2 LUW, we have various product editions as well. Depending upon your business, you can approach IBM and you can buy various products. If you talk about various product editions which are available in DB2, we have DB2 Express C, which is free. Then we have DB2 Express. Then we have DB2 Workgroup, Enterprise Server, and Advanced Enterprise Server editions. This Express is for small scale industries. Workgroup is for medium. Enterprise Server and Advanced Enterprise Server is for medium to large scale. Let me put it in the notes here. DB2 LUW product editions. Express is free for developer community. Small scale business, Express. Medium scale business, Workgroup. medium to large. When I say medium to large, I mean industries such as Walmart. They are huge stores across. They have huge stores across the world, right? So such kind of a large companies I'm talking about. Enterprise or advanced enterprise. Now, since you have mentioned at the starting of a demo that you are already working on DB2, do you have any idea which product you are going to work?
Yeah,
What product edition basically? Of course DB2, but what product edition?
it's 9.5, IBM DB2 9.5.
Yeah, but that's a version. That's a good point. So we have various versions for it. You have 9.1, 9.5, 9.6, 10.1, 10.5, even the latest one came in.
I say 9.5.
Okay. So it's 9.5, and what kind of a
Yes.
license you have? Is it enterprise or work group?
No, enterprise.
Okay, pretty good. Pretty good. So that means you have all the features that you can use in DB2.
Yes.
It's the same product code. Let's say if my business is very small, I go to IBM and I tell those guys that okay, I'm okay with the DB2 Express edition for now. If tomorrow my business grows, if I have to upgrade to our group or enterprise edition, obviously there is no change needed from my application code. It's as simple as upgrading my database edition. It's the same code, same APIs, and same DB2 if I move from here to here. Also, DB2 offers a warehousing solution. For example, what I'm trying to tell here is there is no hard and fast rule that I have to use DB2 only for transactional databases. I can customize DB2 and I can use it for analytical purpose. Can use for warehousing. You see what I'm saying?
Hmm.
You know that kind of a product is InfoSphere warehouse. However, here I have given examples where these were initially designed for warehouses only. I can still customize SQL Server, I can still customize Oracle by increasing temporary spaces, by increasing parallel servers and all that, but they are not initially designed for warehouses. Okay, these are the initial solutions designed for warehouses. If I go in little detail about what each edition offers, DB2 Express C provides all core capabilities of DB2 at no charge. It's a free, but free comes with some restrictions, right? It only supports 2 processor cores and 4 GB of memory. It has that restriction. So DB2 Express, this is for small scale industries. It offers all the full functional edition of DB2, but again it comes with some restrictions. When I talk about a workgroup server edition, this is for medium scale industries. It offers up to 16 cores and 64 GB memory. But when I go to enterprise and advanced enterprise, there are no restrictions, just unlimited. These are for large scale industries, and most of the DB2 environments out of 195 or 96 are enterprise or advanced enterprise. It is the difference is only the performance. Okay, I mean in the sense the amount of infrastructure you can use. If I put all of them in a pictorial way here, the pricing strategy differs. If you are an architect and have to take a call, it depends. The number of users, number of CPUs. Licensing is a little complicated. I generally leave that to my boss to discuss with the support guys. But from processor point of view, memory point of view, it's like 2 cores, 4 cores, 16 cores. It's unlimited. 4 GB, 8 GB, 64 GB. And the platforms they can support is like this. These are the helpful things to understand that DB2 is no more a closed system. DB2 is an open system out there giving a big competition to other OLTP or OLAP environments. Like other databases, it also supports all the majority of features. You have a clustering feature, you have compression features, you have encryptions, you have a securities, you have a performance, you have a easy maintenance. It's out there with all the industry standard features. Here is a little slide to find out what is your version and product type. Just in case if you are not familiar, there are various ways you can find out. One is DB2 level command or a DB2 LS command, or you can run a query, or you can run this configuration. Don't worry about it. We'll see them after the installation, right? Coming to the fundamental architecture. If I have to explain DB2 to a new person completely who has no understanding on databases, I tell them at a high level. Let's say I'm talking to a developer. Let's say you are talking to a developer, and you have to explain developer that the basic architecture of DB2. How would you do that? This is the easiest way to do it. The easiest way is I have an operating system. In the operating system, I have two different DB2 instances. Now each DB2 instance can have different databases, n number of databases. So if I have to explain DB2 architecture, to a developer who has zero idea on our storage or internal stuff, I tell that guy that, okay, here will be my operating system. We call it as a server. Now this operating system, I have a DB2 instance. Inside DB2 instance, I have database 1, database 2. This is a simple architecture. Things get a little complicated, right? So on the same operating system, I can have DB2 instance 1, I can have DB2 instance 2, I can have DB2 instance 3, so I can have DB1, here I can have database 2, database 3, here I can have DB4, DB5, and DB6, and so on. And to add to the complexity here, I can have these as a different versions. I can have it here, this has your 9.5, you can have this as 10.1, I can have this as 10.5 or 11. It depends all on my requirement infrastructure I have, right? But as a developer, what he or she needs to know is these basic 5 parameters. It is important to help them understand this architecture, right? However, if a developer is coming to you and saying that, okay, I understood your architecture, but tell me what I need to connect to database 3. If I say the server IP address is like server name is like server 1, or IP address this one. If a developer is coming and asking you like, I need connection parameters from my application client to connect to this guy. Now how would you do that? This is how you would do that. You need basic 5 parameters. First one is server name or IP address. That is 10 dot, that is either server 1 or 10.194.23.123. The second one is you need a database name, dbase3. Before that, you also need a port number where your instance is listening. This is like a TNS listener, right? Your server has to listen
TNS,
this
yeah.
port number
No,
for
in
incoming
Oracle.
connections, right? Maybe 50,000. What is the user ID, right? User one, maybe let's say Ravi. Password is password. These are good enough to understand DB2 from development aspect. This is a fundamental difference for someone coming from Oracle background especially. You are always in the mind thought that one instance, one database, or multiple instance, single database. If you are not comfortable with 12c so far, right, that's where we have a little difficulty to understand. In 12c, it's just a fancy name in my opinion that these are all pluggable databases. As simple as that. It's just like a databases. If you talk about DB2 and SQL architecture, that configuration was there in a long back. Okay, it's just that Oracle adapted it now probably for cloud computing. Any questions so far?
No question for me.
Okay, it gets little complicated from here. It's good a developer understand that way, but how do I explain it to a database administrator? Here is a database view from storage aspect. In a DB2 instance, we can have more than one database. That's what we learned in previous slide. Each database is a combination of many, both logical and physical structures. Obviously, right? Database is nothing but a repository of data. That means I have to store the data physically somewhere. Where do I store the data? We store the data in the form of operating system blocks. Now this combination of blocks, we call it as a page. Oracle calls it as a block. The space size can be customizable like 4 and 8 or 16 like that. The combination of pages is an extent. Combination of extents is a table space, and combination of table spaces is a database. No difference. It's same as Oracle. But the combination of blocks is also called as a container. This is an equivalent term for .dbf file. You see you have a .dbf file in Oracle. It's an equivalent term for it. These two are physical things and these are the logical things. From storage aspect, you can define a database as combination of table spaces. From general purpose, you can say database is repository. This is what I'm saying. We so far defined database as repository. But where will this data get stored? Right? This data gets stored in table spaces. Right. Now, the table space is a combination of containers. These are nothing but .dbf files in or data files in Oracle kind of environments. Right. So this OS block, combination of OS block is nothing but by page. We'll understand this in a class DB2 storage when I'm explaining about table spaces and containers and storage models in a separate class in going forward. We'll understand about them. To put it in a different view, page becomes extent, extent becomes containers, containers become table spaces are nothing but my database. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Things gets a little complicated, right? As a DBA,
So
yeah, go ahead.
content and DB2 the same like a data file in Oracle?
Exactly. .dbf or data file in Oracle.
Okay.
It gets a little complicated and we have to understand the internals. Right? If you look at Oracle 11G on a Unix or a Linux platforms, it's a process-based architecture. Right? If I talk about Oracle 11G on Unix or Linux, is a process-based architecture, right? Unless you go for Oracle 12c on Unix or Linux, can be a thread-based architecture if we enable a parameter called threaded execution. If we
Okay.
talk about DB2, DB2 is a thread-based architecture from a long time. You know, right, the difference between process and thread. One simple difference is thread is super fast than process. That means DB2 is thread-based architecture from long time. Right? Oracle became a thread-based architecture like 3 years back for Unix or Linux platforms. That means what we are talking about is we are talking about the speed. DB2 is super fast than Oracle in many areas. So to understand all those internals and how it is faster in one area and where it has to improve, you have to go through the internals. That internals are that threads that contribute to that performance. We also call those threads as engine dispatchable units. You might hear this word called EDU. It's a fancy name that IBM, in my opinion, gave it for thread or a process. It can be thread or a high-level process. Engine dispatchable unit, right? So whatever you are seeing in the ellipses, these are all threads. Your client application will connect as a thread, and you have an agent who is responsible for getting your work done. You have sub-agents, these are like listener threads. You have prefetchers, you have page cleaners to clean up the pages. You have a deadlock detectors, you have a log reader, you have a log writer. Whatever you see in the form of processes in Oracle, whatever you see in the form of processes in Oracle, majority of them you see them here as threads. You will have only one thread, one process at a high level. It's like a single process. DB2, this is a very important difference. DB2 LUW is a single process high level with all threads within it. If you install Oracle, you get bunch of processes, right? There are maybe like 15-20 different processes runs. But with DB2, you'll get only one single process at a high level. That process is DB2 CCC, DB2 system controller. We'll see them. When we do the installation, we'll understand that. So the list of those threads and processes information given in this slide. For interest of time, I'm skipping this right now because I don't want to confuse you guys so much in the first class itself. There is further internal architecture we need to understand by end of our classes called memory architecture. We have SDA, right? Here we have database underscore memory. How my buffer cache in Oracle and how my buffer pools here. What is log buffer size? What is get log size? What is log list? What is a package cache, like library cache, and what is the utility heap size? What are the processes? And all these information we should understand by end of our classes, and we are sure going to understand them as part of various classes. For someone coming from Oracle, here is a quick comparison. Instance, database. You have init or SP file, we have DBM and DB config files. We call it as a block and we call it as a pages, and extents. Data files is nothing but containers. Redo logs are nothing but my transaction logs in DB2. Data buffers is nothing but my buffer pools, SGA, and the little comparison. I'll make sure you receive this presentation along with trending nodes, right? So that you can quickly compare Oracle and DB2.
Okay.
There are various, coming to the last section of it, there are various clients you can install, right? I'm skimming through this section, but at a high level, the majority of the people use a client called IBM Data Studio. In the olden days, we used to have something called Control Center, but this been replaced with Data Studio. It's the most powerful tool they use. There are a number of tools, right? As long as you have ODBC, JDBC, you can talk to DB2, such as tool for DB2. What we see in these classes is we see the installation of these two clients, and we'll establish communication with our DB2. I will cover them as part of our course. Now that brings me to the last one, final point.
Excuse me, which tools are we going to use? Data Studio or Toad?
Both.
Okay.
I'll show them the installation of both.
We use Data Studio.
Okay, pretty good. But majorly, we work in CLP environment only. As a DBS, we log into the tools. Yeah. But I'll show you how application developers uses these two tools to extract the DDLs or to perform their day-to-day work. Right? But both are very important. But Data Studio is of course the majorly used. Now that brings me to the final point to talk on course structure. If I open the course content, the course needs 32 hours. Okay, 32 hours to cover various topics. So here is a course description. Like there are various units. I have divided the total 32 hours into. Unit 1 is like introduction. Like we got little understanding on the family of products, LUW additions, product features, client connectivity. Then we need to go and understand DB2 command line processing and GUI usage. This is when actually we go and install DB2. Then we create instance. Then we create databases, data placements, how many hours it needs. And we create the database objects. We move the data here and there. Data movement options, data loading and unloading. Then backup, recovery and transaction logs, the most important for database administrator. How do you maintain a database? What are the tools available for monitoring? And each one of them is followed by an exercise, most of the units. And locking and concurrency, the most ad hoc requests. Sometimes we have to be on our toes to fix these. And what kind of a security we can implement, and log management, and performance tuning and advanced monitoring. So together it needs 32 hours, probably like 16 to 17 classes, where it comprises of 2 hours each for each class. I'll make sure that when you get this course content along with this presentation and running notes. That concludes my demo today, and I'm happy to take any queries if you have.
So how many hours per day is
Yes.
per session?
Yeah, this is how I structure my course: 2 hours per day, but only on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, evening US hours. Okay, unless student has a specific requirement where he or she would like to do a crash course, these are US hours. I'm not.
What time to what time?
Yeah, it's generally in US evening hours. US evening hours, and that means if I talk about my IST hours, it is Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday morning. Same as now, the time you are having right now, it's in the same timeline. But this is something we need to agree, okay? I have other batches going on. Based upon the confirmation, we can see that. We can discuss.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. It's work for me.
Okay. So, but again, like I said, your training will have more than one participant most of the time, at least like 2 or 3 or 4 participants at least on an average. So, we'll see what is the best workable time for all the students and we'll fix that. But we can work on that schedule, okay? And what you get as part of the training is recordings, of course, the PPTs, exercises, running notes, links to download IBM material, and I got know that you need also help with certification,
Yes.
right? I can give you the pointers on that. I can provide the pointers on where to look and what are the ideal books to read on.
Okay, so is that part included in the course too, helping certification, or
Oh, it's
you
it's
just
not
work?
too much. Maybe an hour, hour and a half, not more than that. I'll spend time there. If you want more time there, probably that would be chargeable again. But probably Swati can help you with that.
Okay.